What's up? It's Jan back at it again with another nerdy bookish video. I have my handy dandy Stitch mug. If you've been here a while, you know what this means. This is my January wrap up. I've been doing this for a little over a year now. Not like YouTube. I've been doing this a while. I'm talking the way I do my wrap-ups. Last year in January, I started this thing where I do my wrap-ups as the reread, rewrite, burn tag. So basically I have all my books that I read in January on little slips of paper in here, and then I pick 3 at a time, and then it's basically fuck, marry, kill, but make it bookish. That's always how I start these videos. I also start my wrap-ups with stats. So I'm gonna grab my reading journal. Hold please. Okay. Let's do it. So I read 13 books in January. My goal was 15, so yikes, but it's okay. I was going through it in January. Let me freaking tell you. When I say I was going through it, I'm still going through it, but not as intensely. Like, you know how before when I said I was really going through it, it's not in the, it's in a different realm. It's a lot worse. I'm crying less, but the situation is a lot worse than it was in August when I was going through it. Hence, not reaching a lot of my goals last month. Anyway, number of pages read, I finally calculated it for the first time in like probably 4 months. I don't know. But I read 4,627 pages. Number of Chicago appearances, if you didn't know, I'm from like 30 minutes from Chicago. So like I grew up around Chicago and I have grown a hatred for the city. Other than its music scene, as I always disclaim with, it's a personal thing, okay? So when I spoke that out into the world at one point in life, it started haunting me in movies, shows, books especially, so I started keeping track. But I only had 2 Chicago appearances last month, so that's cool. Number of BIPOC authors, 2 out of 13. That is so bad. I've been not as intentional with my reading in terms of diversity the past month or 2. I've honestly been focusing on just like getting my physical TBR down and actually reading the books I check out from the library, and then I don't like pay attention to the amount of white authors I'm reading. So we're gonna try to get better, I promise. I promise. It's not my best work. Not gonna lie. All right, best book, These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. This was my first book of 2022 and it was 5 stars. It was super basic. I was honestly embarrassed at first to admit that I gave this 5 stars. I might still have a few ounces of embarrassment from giving this book 5 stars because it was so basic. It was like an ACOTAR retelling mixed with Cruel Prince. That's what it's pitched as, but it's like literally a retelling because it's like, it's so basic. It's just obviously different characters and the betrayals. It was the betrayals for me. And I know I'm not the only one because Starla from Starla Enjoys feels the same way, and they felt also embarrassed for giving this book 5 stars and not being able to stop thinking about it, letting it make them want to read more basic fae YA books, because same. Before that book, I forgot what it was like to not want to stop reading a book. Like, I could not put that book down. The worst book, I'm also embarrassed to say this, the worst book of January was my book club pick, The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I gave that book 2 stars. I just was not amused, y'all. Like there was so much repetition. I get it, it's middle grade, okay, I'm not the target audience, whatever, but I know a lot of people my age and above who absolutely adore this book, and I am not one of those people. I don't usually read middle grade, but I've been giving it a chance in the past year. I've just heard so much hype over this book and how cute it is and whatever. And yeah, it was cute. The little dragon, what's his name? Furion. That was my favorite part. That was the only part I liked about the book. There were so many random things going on, like people were turning into birds, like this crow wouldn't stop fucking cawing. Towards the end there was a lot of she's here, and it's like, who the fuck are we talking about? Because I don't care. I thought there would be more witchy elements to it. There really wasn't. There were some good quotes from it and like I guess a good message across about how like the witch or whatever was protecting this little girl from the evils of the world, and they had like a euphemism for effort. Is euphemism the right word? They had like they didn't say evils of the world, they said something to represent it. My girl Kat didn't like it either, and she was my guest for last month. If you didn't know, I run a book club. All the information is always linked down below. It's called the Full Moon Book Club, just saying. But yeah, that was the worst book. I was just so annoyed by the end. I didn't even have the audiobook. I pushed through physically. I read it early. Like, I didn't wait until last minute to finish finish it before the live show. Like, I was on top of it last month. I just didn't enjoy it at all. I'm upset. But yeah, the 2 stars were solely for Furion, the little dragon friend. Books left on January TBR 3 out of 10. So I started doing this thing this year where I keep my TBR to 10, no more, no less. You know, it's good guidance. Obviously, I read more than 10 and I still have 3 left, which means I did stray away from my TBR, which is bound to happen, but this at least keeps it concise. So it's working, kind of. I did not read a classic last month. I planned on reading Frankenstein, didn't get to it. I wasn't in the mood for the classic writing style. I don't know. Nonfiction, I read this little book. It was in the middle grade section in the library, but it was about the Salem witch trials. It's called Witches, The Absolutely True Tale of Disaster in Salem. I gave this book 3 stars. It had really dope illustrations. I think it won an award for that or something, and it had good information. It read like fiction. It was super short. It was like, I think it was less than 200 pages, and it was written for like a younger audience, so it was really readable. I learned a couple things about the Salem witch trials. I love reading about the Salem witch trials. That was that. My Buzzwordathon book. Buzzwordathon is run by Kayla from Books and Lala. She picks like a word that you read books with that word in the title from. That sentence didn't make sense, but you get the gist, I hope. And the buzzword was who, what, where, when, why, and how. And I read The Girl Who Drank the Moon. It was dope that my book club pick fit the Buzzwordathon, so it was like a double whammy, you know? 2 birds, 1 stone type of deal. I did not read a book over 500 pages. Oh, and I also pull a card every month from Jesse's TBR card deck from Bowties and Books, if you didn't know. The card I chose was read a book with a character who is mentally or physically disabled. I read The Grimrose Girls for Sapphicathon, which, you know, full circle moment because Jesse and I host that every month together, and The Grimrose Girls is a sapphic dark academia mystery situation. One of the characters had OCD, anxiety, one other character had, or maybe it was the same character, who had fibromyalgia. So checked off all those boxes and fulfilled my Jessie TBR card prompt. I gave The Grimrose Girls 3 stars. It was honestly highly disappointing. I was really excited for this book. The cover is gorgeous. Thank you to Sourcebooks Fire for sending me a finished copy. It was just a lot less than what I expected. The synopsis talks about how there are these murders at this private academy. When the friends started investigating, they realized the murders were based on ancient fairy tale curses, like the Grimm fairy tales, you know. It delivered in diversity, like LGBTQIA+ rep, there was mental health rep, there was physical disability rep, there were various various body types in the characters. The characters were what did this book for me. The plot took so long to get started. Like, they just started investigating and like figuring things out 100 pages into the book. But yeah, it's multi-POV. There are a lot of characters who have distinct personalities, so it was really easy to keep track of who's who. There were moments of humor. My favorite characters were Svenja and Nani. Oh, and Rory. Each character is kind of supposed to represent a Disney princess type thing or a fairy tale princess, so it was nice to see those connections towards the end. The twist and the reveal were meh. I was not impressed. Yeah, super disappointed for this highly anticipated read, but that's okay. It was still 3 stars because of the diversity. Anyway, okay, moving on to the actual wrap up. Sorry that was so long. Yeah, so we're gonna pick 1, 2, and 3. First one is Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and The Grimrose Girls. Okay, so I would burn the Grimrose Girls. I probably wouldn't. No, hold on. I would rewrite The Grimrose Girls, honestly. Like, it had so much potential. The concept was beautiful. I just needed more in the way it was executed, and the twist, probably write a different twist, because whoever was committing these murders, it didn't feel satisfying to me to find out who it was. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, just make the plot move faster, so which means it probably could be a little bit shorter. It was a super quick read, not gonna lie, but yeah, I would rewrite that, which means I would burn Heartstopper Volume 4. Listen, it was really cute. The whole series is really cute. I probably wouldn't reread any of the volumes, honestly, because they're graphic novels. Like, once I read a graphic novel, that's pretty much one and done for me. The 4th one, trigger warnings for eating disorders, specifically anorexia. There's also homophobia in there, bullying, and self-harm. So yeah, be careful with this one, but Nick and Charlie are sweethearts. They're so cute together, but yeah, I would burn that, sorry. Oh, Heartstopper Volume 4, I gave 4 stars. I read that on my Kindle. soul. So good mental health rep. The New Year's Eve scene was super cute. There was this quote from it that said, "Love can't cure mental illness." So that's pretty much the overarching theme of the whole book. So if that tells you anything. But yeah, it was super cheesy at certain points, but that's literally all of them. That cheesiness balances out the heaviness for sure. But anyway, okay, which leads me to rereading The Love Hypothesis. I gave this one 5 stars. Was not expecting to love this book as much as I did. I was honestly trying to avoid it because of all the hype. I read it for the Krusty Club, for Chanel's book club. I think she said that the live show is like first week of March or something. I read it early for my romance reading vlog. I'll link that down below. I had such a good time with this one. That one steamy scene, I still think about it to this day. Trigger warnings for sexual harassment though. It covers a lot of themes like, you know, women in STEM, how the academic world works and the injustices of it and things like that. There is a fake dating trope, if you haven't heard already, from any freaking social media platform about books. We love the slow burn romance in it. There's an underlying deeper storyline that I enjoyed reading about. It wasn't just about the romance. I love romance books that have that have substance, you know? Something that isn't just the lovey-dovey boring bullshit, you know? Love the characters. I loved the main character's friend group. I already forgot her name. I know the dude's name was Adam. What the hell was it Anna? No. I don't know. But her friend group, super cute. The little inside jokes and witty banter. It's another note I had. Love that too. I'm really proud of myself for elaborating more than usual for this wrap up because I usually don't. Like, I'm elaborating so much I need a drink. It's water, I promise. All right, These Hollow Vows, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and No Exit by Taylor Adams. I would burn No Exit because of the racist shit that's in it that no one talks about. There's a Chinese racial slur in there. There's the N-word. This is written by a white male author. So great story, like great plot line, great, you know, execution of the storyline, the twists and everything like made my jaw drop. Like it was a riveting story. So I gave it 3 stars, which I was still hesitant about. Like some of the humor too was just not cute. I don't know. It has some problematic elements, but it's a good thriller, not gonna lie. I will admit that, but just so you know, there's some racist shit in there. So just a little warning. These Hollow Vows I would reread. Obviously, I already told you it's 5 stars. One of my best of 2022, I'm pretty sure already. Already talked about her. And then People We Meet on Vacation. Okay, I have to rewrite it now because obviously that's the only option left. I think I would rewrite it by not having it set in the summer. I would definitely redesign the cover. For sure, because that's what's been like turning me off from that book. But I read it for my book of the year nominees vlogs, like from book of the month or whatever. So I'll have that link down below as well. I'm really proud of that one. I really surprisingly enjoyed this though. I gave it 4 stars. I really genuinely thought I would hate this book. I loved Beach Read by Emily Henry and it was set in the summer, but something about this book was just not giving and I was pleasantly surprised because I was dying. Like you'll see in that vlog if you watch it. I dare you to try not to laugh during this one clip that I had where I was cracking up and trying to read these scenes out loud and I was dying because the sarcasm and the witty banter again between these friends to lovers characters, I loved it. I hate to admit it, but I did. The humor, the steamy scenes because they weren't unrealistic or too much for friends to lovers. Yeah, so the steamy scenes weren't too steamy. Like I said, it was realistic because they were friends to lovers. They've known each other for a while, so it didn't have to be this freaking explosive thing, you know? There were a lot of cringy lines. It got super relatable towards the end when Poppy realized a ton about herself. So there is a lot of character growth in this, in my opinion. Self-awareness, character development was on par. Next 3, Akaphas, A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. We have that Witches book that I talked about and Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I honestly forgot I read that book. Okay, I will burn the Witches book because it was average. I'm not gonna read it again ever for sure. These are all such mediocre reads. Shit. I would reread Conversations with Friends because it did have some good quotes. I gave Conversations with Friends 3 stars though. Did not like it as much as normal people. I'm proud that I read this though because I rarely pick up books that I previously DNF'd. I DNF'd this on audio though, so I wanted to try it physically. Now that I'm used to Sally Rooney's writing without the quotation marks and everything, because I read Beautiful World, Where Are You as well in December, it was easier to read. Like when I tried reading normal people physically, that was a doozy. I wasn't, let me see. Conversations with Friends has a scene in bed very similar if not identical to Normal People. Do I remember that? I don't know, but there you go. There's some information for you. I don't know which scene we're talking about here. Super similar characters to Beautiful World, Where Are You? I thought Nick was from both books. Okay, yeah, so in Sally Rooney's defense, in Conversations with Friends' defense, Beautiful World, Where Are You had some very indistinguishable characters. They were all the same, honestly, and like that was similar to Conversations with Friends. Like I got a lot of characters confused because their personalities just kind of meshed. Like there was nothing, you know, highly special about them. Nick in Conversations with Friends gaslighted a lot, so trigger warnings for that. I also wrote Sally Rooney writes broken people really well. The last 100-ish pages got better. Frances opened up more and became more relatable. Her desires reminded me a lot of Acts of Desperation. If y'all haven't heard me talk about Acts of Desperation by Megan Nolan, here I am talking about it again. Y'all should read it. It's literary fiction. It talks about self-destruction and toxic relationships and abuse, grief and depression and mental health and finding yourself, and it's stellar. It's in my top 10 of 2021. I'll link that video down below where I elaborate on it more. But yeah, a lot of that is kind of reflected through Frances in this book because she was like in an affair and she just like wanted to be loved and desired. She was vulnerable. She was being manipulated and she might have realized it. I don't remember much, but she didn't do anything about it because she just wanted to feel like she was in a relationship type thing. So that's that. Oh, and then Akathas, I would rewrite. How though? Oh, I'd take out the like the war scenes and shit, like where they talk about the actual war. Like I was looking for a boring I honestly was in the mood to just read about them living their daily lives. This is the novella in the ACOTAR series, if you didn't know. And everyone talks about how it's so boring because they're just, you know, giving each other Christmas presents and nothing really happens. And I was like, okay, sick. I want that right now. I'm not in the mood for action and war and shit. They still like kind of talked about stuff like that. So I would take those parts out. Next 3, Tokyo Dreaming by Amiko Jean, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Both of those are NetGalley arcs. And then Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. Okay, y'all. This pains me to say, but I would burn Tokyo Dreaming. I hated it. I gave it 2 stars. Tokyo Ever After was one of my top 10 of 2021. I was so stoked for this sequel. It comes out in May. I'm sorry if this deters you from wanting to read it because Tokyo Ever After was phenomenal. It was adorable. This one, my favorite character, and probably a lot of your favorite character, a lot of yours favorite, what? If you're watching this and you read Tokyo Ever After, your favorite character, most likely, whoever that may be, no spoilers here. Yeah, that character is not in this book for the majority of the time. The ending was so melodramatic, it was basic, it was annoying. There were so many annoying characters in this book, specifically these 2 twin sisters. The love interest in this book is not cute. There was just no chemistry, and I was pissed. Who the fuck is calling? Hold on, give me a second. Okay, we back. I had to take a very important phone call. Where the hell was I? Okay, so I burned Tokyo Dreaming. I already explained why, I think, right? Okay. I would reread Razorblade Tears. I ended up giving Razorblade Tears 4 stars. Spoiler alert for that Book of the Month vlog. Again, it'll be linked down below. I really liked the humor, despite how fucked up it got sometimes, because it was humor from a white racist man, but like the humor wasn't racist. The ones that I found funny, you know? Like he was just very, like he had sass. His comebacks were hilarious sometimes. I wrote, how did this author manage to make me want to shed tears for a racist? Yeah, I almost cried reading this book. People told me I was gonna cry, but I held back because I was like, what the fuck? Why am I trying to cry over this man? But yeah, this book is chock full of unlikable characters. It's about 2 dads trying to get revenge on the person who killed their sons who were married. It got bloody real quick. But yeah, it took me a while to actually enjoy my reading experience. But once I was there, I binged like the last 150 pages. Book Lovers, I would rewrite. First thing I would rewrite is not making the sisters call each other sissy. It was so annoying, y'all. Like, I could not handle it. Charlie knows Nora's strengths, and he always voiced them when she was doubting herself in any way. Yeah, that was really sweet. I did like the love interest, but honestly this book focused more on the sister relationship more than the actual romance. So if you're into that, you might really like this book, but I gave Book Lovers 3 stars, and I again was highly disappointed because this was highly anticipated. Yeah, I'm just glad I read it early so that I wasn't anticipating it for months and months and then reading it and being more disappointed, you know? The tough decisions the characters made. Oh, okay, so like I do love when characters have to make a tough like life decision and that trope, I guess, was there in book lovers, so I enjoyed that. There were a lot of cringy and dramatic lines. The flirting and the dialogue in general were just not doing it for me. Not only was some of it cringy, but it was also just like, it didn't flow naturally. I didn't feel the chemistry. The dialogue felt flat, the banter felt flat. Like, it was not people we meet on vacation, let me tell you. That's my take on book lovers. And then I have two more. The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Oh, that's awkward. I knew I wrote the Grimrose Girls twice. Anyway, so I had one more. The Girl Who Drank. I was like, that doesn't make sense because I only read 13 books and the math, it did not compute. Anyway, The Girl Who Drank the Moon, I would obviously burn. We already talked about her. Okay, so if you made it to the end of this video, what emoji should we use? Is there a fairy emoji? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna check right now. Yes, put a fairy emoji down below to represent these hollow vows. Thank you so much for watching. Hope y'all had a great day. Stay safe and stay positive always, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye!